Welcome back. Meanwhile, as Cyclone Nivar inches closer to the coast of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, a red alert has now been sounded in the southern states of Cyclone Nivar is likely to make a landfall between Mamallapuram near Chennai and Karaikal in Puducherry tonight, with a wind speed of 110 to 140 kilometers per hour. The cyclone is likely to turn into a very severe cyclone. Meanwhile, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister took stock of the Chembaram-Bakkam Lake, where inflow of water has increased following incessant rainfall in Chennai. As a precaution, Chennai Corporation has ordered removal of all hoardings ahead of Cyclone Nivar. Meanwhile, Tamil Nadu government suspended several flights from Chennai, also state bus and train services in 11 districts. A public holiday has been announced by the Tamil Nadu government today in 13 districts, even tomorrow. Chief Minister EPS appealed to people to stay. 29 relief camps have now been set up in Chennai and 312 people have already been shifted to 8 relief centres. Neighbouring Puducherry has imposed prohibitory orders under Section 144. 30 NDRF teams have been deployed and 22 teams are on standby to assist affected states.
Right now, I'm at the Mahabalipuram beach where the fishermen are doing last efforts to try and ensure that their belongings are safe during the impact of the cyclone. As you see in the visual, they're actually doing a combined effort to try and drag their boats, their fishing boats, into safer ground. So till morning, the situation was more or less fine here because they could actually keep their boats towards the coastline. But in the afternoon, after it started raining and also after the winds have started blowing quite hard, the water level has increased not just in the sea, but also you can see there is a small stream that has formed between the sea and the road which ends over here. So what they're trying to do now is they're going to try and drag these fishing boats into higher land to ensure that even if the water level increased much, there wouldn't be much problem to their livelihood. So as this has actually become a very common scene during the time of cyclones, and because the landfall is expected around late tonight, and before that they want to move maximum equipments to safer locations, and that is what these men are doing. A very combined effort, at least 10 of them working together, working in tandem, and this is not a small job as it seems in the frame, because it takes a lot of effort. These boats, these fiber boats, are really heavy, and it's not very easy to carry these boats.
Well, we're very close to the Gendi Bridge. Now, that's where the Adyar River flows. Now, because of the heavy rains over here and the incoming cyclone and the effects basically of the cyclone, this is what it is, not just in this area, the KK Nagar in Chennai, but in different parts of Chennai, especially those areas that have their drains clogged. The roads are completely inundated. This area, it's just the road. In some other areas, water has clearly entered people's homes and destroyed their valuables. In fact, roads over here, you can clearly see, are completely, in fact, one stretch of the road is completely blocked, and that's one of the reasons why there is traffic. Now, the officials have very clearly asked people not to step out of their homes for their own safety. But that is not actually happening. There is considerable traffic on the roads. You have a large number of people also coming out. It's a public holiday today. In fact, we're also getting information from our sources that even tomorrow it would be a public holiday. Now, where we are, in fact, it started to rain as of now. It starts in bursts, it stops in bursts, and when it rains, it pours. So over here where I've actually walked in this particular street, the water has actually come up to my knee level. Such is the situation over here. But there is absolutely no option now for the people. They'll have to manage with the rains, with the floods, with the inundation, until and unless basically the cyclone makes landfall and proceeds away from the coast. With video journalist Divyan, Nolan Pinto for India Today in Chennai.
We should go for a zero casualty approach. That should be our focus. So when we have no loss of life, then we should focus on property and keep the systems up and running. So that is why NDRF teams are also on standby. There are 19 teams in Tamil Nadu, 6 teams in Pondicherry, and 7 teams in Andhra Pradesh. Overall, 30 teams are totally committed to it, and whatever is balance has been kept in reserve.
Now the cyclone started and the waves are coming up to 6 to 7 feet high. It may increase to 9 feet also. After some time, 9 to 10 feet it will increase. The water logging will be here. Therefore, relief centers have been opened. In the relief centers, the food will be provided to them, water, medicine, and corona test will be done to the people. Sanitizer will be given, then face mask will be given, and the people will be taken care of. Line departments are fully prepared to meet the challenges of Nivar cyclone, and we will be working round the clock. From our government side, on the one side to fight against the COVID pandemic, on the other side to prevent the people from getting COVID during the cyclone period. On both fronts we are fighting.
The entire government machinery is at your service and is taking care. Just listen to them and go by the rules and regulations being declared. Move to higher places wherever you need to. There are relief centers. Please move there and abide by instructions and stay indoors.
It is now moving northwestwards and likely to intensify into a severe cyclonic storm and cross between Karaikal and Mamallapuram near Puducherry by today, late evening or night. At the time of crossing, the wind speed is likely to be 120 to 130, gusting to 145 kmph all along the Puducherry and Tamil Nadu coast. Chennai is likely to experience intermittent heavy to very heavy spells.
All right, cutting across to my colleague Nolan Pinto reporting from Windy and Gopi Krishnan Unithan live from Mamallapuram. Gopi, would you get us up to speed with what is the latest situation? Around what time will the cyclone make landfall? What would be in the eye of the storm?
Right inside the lane of well, Priti, we have been told by the IMD that the landfall is expected somewhere between late evening. That could be anywhere after 7 o'clock, but probably before 1 early morning or late night. So right now I am at Mamallapuram and I will just show you around this area because since morning this area has gone through a lot of change is what I can say, and that is a devastating change. There is a small shed that you actually see that, I mean, I'm not really sure if it's very clear on the camera, but there are some some debris that you see over there, but that was a shed. That was a makeshift shed which was used by the fishermen. That has completely collapsed. And also in the morning when I came here, I could literally walk from this road all my way into that seashore and touch the waters. But now what has happened is that due to the heavy rains and the wind that has been blowing across, there is a stream that has flowed and that has actually formed in between, making it difficult for people to reach across to that particular region. Maybe I'll just try and walk into the frame and show you the extent of this particular breeze, because now I just spread my arms and you can see already that this rain jackets that I'm wearing is flattering, and all over the place you can see there is very strong wind that is blowing across. Certainly things are not really looking good at the moment, and remember, this is not even the actual landfall. The landfall is expected only around late night, but this is just the initial wind that is picking up. Even this is actually a very strong experience of the wind. Even people are finding it really difficult to maneuver under these tough conditions.
We can barely hear you because the roar of the wind around you is so strong, and understandably so. Gopi, are we looking at a severe cyclone or a very severe cyclone? What is going to be the grade of it, at least till now?
Well, Priti, we have been told that it is actually developing into a severe cyclonic storm, and it will make its landfall anywhere between Mamallapuram and Karaikal. So that is actually a 140-kilometer stretch across the east coast of Tamil Nadu, and there are actually very many key areas including Puducherry, Karaikal, which could actually be in the eye of the storm. So the eye of the storm, according to the predictions now, could be anywhere between these areas that I just mentioned. But even though there are many other areas which include Chennai and the adjoining areas which will experience heavy rain and wind, because it is not just in the eye of the storm but also in the peripheral area there will be very strong winds. For example, right now I am in Mamallapuram and this is just the peripheral wind which is blowing across this area, and I must actually say that this must be anywhere between 40 to 60 kilometers per hour even now, and we have another 7 to 8 hours to go before the actual landfall happens, and at that time the speeds could increase to 120 kilometers per hour. And the administration has already advised people not to come out of their houses. This is mostly because they are always at risk of being injured by the debris, because these winds itself are very strong. It can even drag a person down, and it can carry all sorts of debris which are on the ground or which are actually dislocated due to this wind, and that can actually hit or collide with any person and cause injury. So that is why even we journalists have been advised to stay at safer locations and not gaze around after the winds have started picking up. So certainly things are looking quite serious here in Mahabalipuram at the moment.
All right, Gopi, would you stay on with me? I want to connect to my colleague Nolan Pinto. Our colleague Nolan is right now also on the east coast between Puducherry and Mahabalipuram. That is going to face the maximum brunt of the cyclone. Nolan, where exactly are you? What are you witnessing?
Well, I just want to show you where I am. I'm actually in the central part of Chennai. Let me just show you, give our viewers an aerial view of what's really happening as of now. Preeti, in the morning there was traffic, there were people outside, but just take a look at that particular road. Not much traffic as of now. People have decided that it's safer and better to stay indoors than come outside. The reason being, it was raining. It's still raining in Chennai. But the point was, it's now drizzling. But the wind speed has picked up over here. It's extremely windy. If you have an umbrella, that umbrella, in fact, this is what's exactly happened to me now. The umbrella actually will completely turn. That is exactly what is happening over here. It's well, extremely difficult to somehow manage with these umbrellas, but that's the problem over here. It's not the rains per se. It's continuously drizzling, like I mentioned, but it's the breeze, very, very difficult. But the people, what the officials have done is basically for the people living near the Adyar, live on the banks, they've actually asked them, especially in the low-lying areas, to move to relief centers for their own safety. So this is exactly what is taking place in Chennai as of now, Preeti.
All right, so well, Chennai, it's not as bad as Mahabalipuram, where my colleague Gopi is reporting from. But mind you, I just want to take you through the last cyclone which devastated Umphan, the West Bengal coast, especially even in the city of Kolkata. A wind speed over 100 could be devastating in a city. We're going to keep getting our viewers the latest, but I want to take you through on how the storm Nivar is actually progressing, the cyclone, where the eye of the storm is, what it's approaching. A quick look at this. Now, this is the satellite image that we've got. And if you can see, this is the eye of the storm. So it's building up right now from a severe cyclone. It's been upgraded to a very severe cyclone. That would mean wind speeds of anywhere over 120 kilometers per hour, even surpassing 140 kilometers per hour. This is the cyclone. It's approaching the east coast. If you can see right there, this is the east coast. Maximum landfall it's going to actually tram into. With the wind speed, if it is, if it continues to barrel at the wind speed it is right now, it's going to make landfall anywhere from Puducherry. That's where you see all the way down, especially at Karaikal in Tamil Nadu. This is what it looks like in terms of where it will make landfall. So this is the area which is going to face the maximum brunt of this cyclone. My colleague Gopi was already in Mahabalipuram, and he has actually even 7 hours before the landfall, he is actually even suggesting that right now the wind speed there has surpassed 60 kilometers per hour. So yes, this is what it looks like. We're going to continue to track the eye of the storm. It's building up right now. These are satellite images, and we're going to continue to cut across and get our viewers the very latest.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.